Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Heroes of Might and Magic 3 Horn of the Abyss, the Forged in Fire campaign. Ah yes, we have many things to be getting on with. First and foremost, Frederick is going to make his way back to clear these archers, because we should have cleared this first really. We didn't, but nonetheless we can see what is in the area. Okay, there's plenty of these places that we can upgrade. There's some more of that mercury we needed. Excellent. Yeah, so we should just need to do our due diligence. We could. This looks like there's just going to be a series of dwellings that we can fix to then just have additional troops. So the manufactory is probably fairly high priority, as well as this this watchtower here as well. So things to work on. Certainly want to build the watchtower in the city as well, though, before the week is through. So let's get onto that. Now, this will also allow me to purchase 2 gunslingers, and this army should actually be sufficient to clear these boys here. I'm not 100% sure, I guess we'll find out. These pirates look completely broke and clueless, armed with nothing but crude short cutlasses. It would see that Darjam has decided on an endless harassment tactic to wear down Burton's defenders. Even if none were killed, that might come back to haunt them the moment he'd send his main forces in to attack. Okay, apparently there are many. That being the case, we're going to need to do some formation work, or just be a little bit patient. Up we go to battle. So if we do something like this. We can actually protect our units. This might just be a bit ambitious and I just need to hold off for a turn. Worth a shot though. Might be time to do some detonation on death. Oh yes. Let's shoot this guy again. Hey, got him. 10 creatures perish. Feels good. And I've also neglected to cast any magical spells, which would make sense. So let's cast one now, shall we? We'll cast a magic arrow on this chap. Let's just save our engineer for now. I'm going to position myself here, so that next turn we can do a nice detonation of death. We'll do the same here as well. So we'll activate detonation of death, and then we'll hit these two. Oh, didn't actually kill it. Fair enough. Well, I'll bail. Defend, defend. A magic arrow, a stack. Spreading our damage evenly. Oh, look at that. 14 creatures perish. Feels good. We'll go fix up this automaton with our one engineer. Nice, we get to save one. And there we go. We lost 2 automatons, but we cleared the road. And Celestine gets to learn some wisdom. What does this require? There's a halfling adobe here But Darjum's pirates laid waste to it during their raids. Rebuilding it would take 15 wood, 10 ore, 5 crystals, and 3,000 gold. I'm not sure if I'll want to go for that particular choice just yet. There's a horde of halberdiers here guarding out of the war machine factory. That could be interesting in and of itself. Rally flag here. We could make our way towards this. This is going to require more units though than just the scraps which I've done to clear this obstruction. We might as well step here just to scout a little bit further. End turn. I was no longer helping Frederick in his workshop, as I had my own thing to do now. I didn't even notice how it happened, but at some point everyone began to refer to me as Burton's Scoutmaster. Still, I maintained interest in my old friend's progress, and knew that he had designed and built an improved steam engine. It was too big and heavy to be mounted on an airship, but perfect for a factory power plant. It helped multiply the torque on the metalworking machine's shafts. Now the factory was building itself. Improved machines helped create new structural elements, and the facilities kept growing and expanding. Frederick was now fully devoted to the energy sector, and had no time to pursue his other old projects. Many of those, however, saw development in the hands of newly arrived artificers. One, an odd-looking grey-haired man named Todd, took upon himself to put automatons into mass production. He spent a good month locked up in a hangar with the prototypes Frederick had brought from Earfall, a few assistants and a variety of tools, and a huge basket of armadillo jerky. When he finally emerged from this voluntary confinement, he looked as if he had never slept a wink in a month, but he was glowing of joy. Beside him, 2 fully assembled models presented their gleaming, polished sides, and he leaned proudly at his elbow on a pile of blueprints and flowcharts. It's funny to remember how at that moment, my takeaway started and ended with the fact that the pile of papers was noticeably taller than I was, even if I'd stood on my tiptoes. I had, of course, already seen the automatons preparing our airships, but the other residents of Burton's were very impressed when they were put on display in the square. Imagine a metal contraption on 6 mechanical legs, almost the size of a full-grown armadillo, looking like a mix of crab, a common sight on the shores of the Ravage roaming, right the first time, with a carnivorous spider from the Murmur Woods. There was a gurgling sound coming from within the mechanism, and thin jets of vapour escaped from the numerous valves. Its steel frame trembled and its joints creaked slightly. The automaton seemed as hot as a water boiler, though it was in fact very much a boiler itself, the powerful grip protruding from a sort of head had a very menacing appearance, and the Burton youths, eager to impress their girls, kept running up and putting their hands into the metal spider crab's jaws. Little did they know that its superheated, steam-based power plant in itself posed much more danger to them than any kind of jaws or extremities. Frederick told me in confidence that Todd hadn't been able to solve its little reliability problem. He only limited the machine's standard power, but kept the option of switching to the supercritical mode. It was, however, impossible to turn off once engaged. Naturally, the assembly responsible for this feature was taken off the model on display, but I still preferred to keep my distance. Automatons being shown off to the world, eh? Let's grab some of this precious wood. And the gold. I imagine we're heading in this direction. I mean, I don't know. There's these whites here which are fairly weak. And a quest guard. The throng of centaur captains is probably us turning left though, thankfully. Like, this is a tough fight. So let's head left. We'll just clear these whites. Probably bleed out some mana. Advanced earth magic though, don't mind that. So, yeah, what else do we have? We've got a pack of wraiths, pack of whites, pack of wraiths. Alright. After all the tales I'd heard of the grim dead Avenger, I expected just about anything from meeting him, except to run into such a lively chatter. When I stepped into the hall where Boyd was sitting, he launched into a profanity-laced tirade, something about his endless appreciation for uninvited guests. However, once he got a closer look at me, he erupted with a flurry of compliments, witticisms and jokes just short of ribaldry. Even the light in one of his eye sockets would fade for a moment every now and then, as if he were winking at me. Before long, though, there was an abrupt transformation about Boyd. It happened the second I first mentioned Darjum. Up until that moment, I could close my eyes and easily imagine talking to a cheerful man, brimming with energy and taste for everything around him. Yet when Darjum's name was called, Boyd's eye sockets became gloomy hollows. His rich baritone gave way to the whistle of a cold wind mixed with the rattle of bones, and his fingers began scraping at the chair's armrests of his chair with a sickening crunch.
If you want to bust that stinking bilge rat, I'll do anything to help you. He doesn't know what I've become owing to him, what power I've gained from the emanations of torment embedded into my bones. But promise me one thing. Once we've cornered the wretch, you will let me have him. Much time has passed, since my stint on his ship, and he has become much more than just a go-getting captain. He now has his own little realm of brigands he calls a principality. He won't set a foot out of his castle if he knows we're on him, but as soon as we tread on his tail, he'll go chopping and changing. And then we'll make our move.
For the first time in my life, I felt my feet freezing. Now I knew those stories of the ghastly dead Avenger were born. Indeed, he'd only been seen when he was out hunting his murderer. In that state, he was truly awe-inspiring. Of course, no one had ever tried to pay Boyd a visit at his dead manor, and no one knew how tormented that unsettled soul was and how he died over again, whenever forced to remember his last days spent in that pitiless wrencher's grip. I imagine this must be Boyd's mansion then. Cunningly disguised as a prison. We'll just clear these whites and lose 10 mana. In a dazzling despair of daring, you open the hero's door, and out comes Boyd, the Death Knight. Boyd is actually pretty serious of a hero, let's be frank. Expert pathfinding, advanced logistics, expert wisdom, expert necromancy, advanced fire magic and earth magic, basic offense and armorer. Level 7 Death Knight, actually. He also has the amulet of the Undertaker. Note there was those dead man's boots before. Starts with 78 skeletons and 9 sandworms. The tier 5 factory unit we've actually yet to see, so that's cool. But okay, this guy clearly should be the one doing this then, so he can get more skeletons. We need to divvy up our forces intelligently. Like, Henrietta could just take the sandworms, but I imagine Boyd's meant to use the sandworms to help clear for the skeletons, and, like, raising more skeletons, right? So let's see. So we have some decent spell. We could cast Sorrow. Oh yeah. That'd do a lot, wouldn't it? So we can just start pouncing. Maybe the idea was to actually separate some of the sandworms out. They're relatively sturdy. Notice how they have that burrowing attack. Burrowing movement, rather. What this does is it lets them... it's effectively the equivalent of flight, but it won't work on the... on like a boat. You won't be able to burrow through that because you will just sink the boat, so they just waddle along instead. There we go, save the skeletons. Practicing the dark arts of necromancy, your hero is able to raise 2 of the enemy's dead to return under their service as skeletons. Excellent, we'll do the same here. Again, goodbye spell points. I knew ye well. Many such cases, unfortunately. Alright, let's pounce. Still, starting with these sandworms means that this guy's just very equipped for handling the challenges ahead. I've managed to get my skeletons injured. I guess we cast Stone Skin. Yeah, rip. Well, I'll take it. I can't be bothered doing the fight again. We have an altar of sacrifice as well, and a quest guard. So there's also a throng of skeleton warriors that could be worth a fight for that Shrine of Magic Gesture. Shouldn't be a problem, I imagine. Give it a go. We probably will need to do some spell casting here and make sure we fight properly. Wasn't expecting a Death Knight to be gracing our campaign, but here it is. Yeah, so damage is not going to be a problem, it's just sturdiness that's going to be the problem. But we'll see what we can do. We'll just cast Shield, eh? Oh, we could do that next turn. Save ourselves a extra turn of duration. That being said, they're not going to hit us this turn, so we should back up and then do another wait turn, I think. Actually, no, let's just get in there. Cast Shield. Alas. Oh, low morale, that's no good. I suppose I cast Sorrow on myself. Well, let's cast Stone Skin on him. Bale. Still should hopefully be a decent crop of skeletons, eh? How much health do I've got left? I can just brawl these two guys down. It should be fine. Yeah. Oh, bonus movement. Good times. 31 extra skeletons. And we learned Death Ripple. A useful spell. That being said, at my current spell power, that's going to be doing 35 damage. That's not enough to kill a sandworm, so that's useful. And we are going to have to go around now to this quest guard, which is going to be... This road leads towards Boyd's hideout, but he's the only one who knows how to get through here. I will pass, though. A pack of gold golems will prove to be no problem. He should probably also be the one to kill these centaur captains, frankly, because that would help him. And even the skeleton transform would be good. Like, feed in all the armadillos, maybe? That being said, Henrietta obviously wants to keep her grenadiers. She might as well learn Death Ripple while she's here. Interesting, though. We have a Death Knight. So, what's next? Frederick is going to... We need to make some decisions, for sure. We also need to clear some of these other foes in our way. So we'll clear the swordsman right now. We don't want to lose anyone, though. That would be silly. So we won't do that. This terrain's, like, borderline useful. Nice grenade. Have a second grenade. You've heard about first grenade. Oh, we'll keep shooting him. And the automatons can swing in there with a nice free hit. Poke. We could poke again, but we could also just bravely run away. Maybe we don't even need to cast a spell. That would be a nice thing, wouldn't it? Look at that. The lack of casting spells. Throw a grenade in his face. Honestly, we could just cast a Bless and murder him, but I don't think that'll be required. Certainly time to pounce in there though with a nice attack. Should be fine. Actually, yeah, the armadillos can just run in there and pounce. There we go. 1 crystal and 400 coin. Let's now have Sam yoink these gunslingers. I keep calling them bounty hunters. They are gunslingers. Okay, we're going to need to wait a turn on that. What's over here? We have a garrison that looks like we'll own. Of course, pirates have come in to seize our Derek, annoyingly. And of course this War Machine Factory's here, because this map is actually consistent with the last map, which is quite nice of it. So, and even this warehouse of wood is still here. It probably makes sense that all these wagons are empty, now that I think about it. So, pack of mechanics. Lots of pirates is probably, again, not something I want to do about bounty hunters. But good to see what is here. Let's head home for now. We can upgrade our... Oh, we can't upgrade it to bounty hunters. Well, good to know at least. We can have all of the first 4 tiers upgraded, and we can have gunslingers, but we can't do more than that. So, obviously we're going to be saving up for dwellings then. The question is, which ones to prioritize? Like, halflings are excellent, obviously. Getting some extra gunslingers would also be really nice to straight away from the start of the game. I think I'd prioritize automatons and gunslingers, and then grab the other 2 after that. Question is how much just these are going to cost. But we'll see. We'll see. Burton now smelled of money, and that smell always attracts those who want to appropriate it, as well as those who are willing, for a fee, to discourage the former. Interestingly enough, the majority of both were of the same pedigree. Pirates, that is. Not all of those who used to have dealings of the Burton craftsmen succumbed to Darjam's entreaties to come and take what they needed by force. The more staid ones saw the benefit of going into the rapidly growing town's service. Furthermore, they were promised the most advanced and powerful weapons crafted in Burton's workshops, and that, of course, was a very good incentive. The townspeople looked askance at these morose men, the mercenaries, equally effective on land and sea, were mostly employed as bounty hunters. Their arms of choice were arquebuses of enormous caliber and very complicated design. One look was enough to see how much care the gunslingers had for the tools of their trade. Their brass and steel parts were buffed to a shine and glistened in the sun like jewellery, and hardwood stocks were polished and varnished. Their cloaks bulged suspiciously at the waist. Hiding underneath were not crude pistols like those used by pirates, but things just as sophisticated and expensive as their arquebuses. Rumours had it that those mysterious weapons had already made countless Darjam's henchmen take dirt naps. A well-trained and disciplined gunslinger always ended up being faster than an ever-drunken pirate, and his smoothbore pocket artillery, however proud the sea dog the latter was. Let's keep with the left stuff for the time being. I want to see what this is. So we need 15 mercury to rebuild the manufactory here. And yeah, a lot of money is going to be pouring into these extra dwellings. It's an interesting mechanic for this particular mission. Probably should clear these Ogre Magi to get access to the Prospector. But first let's have Sam just clear through these archers. Excellent. Grab the gems. How much for the foundry? So it's going to require some sulfur, crystal, 5k, gold, 15. It's not too expensive. We'll clear the marksman as well. Actually, that might be a little bit of a bit of a tall order, frankly. Let's see what we can do about that. We could have Celestine come over. And again, there's not really much more to do in town. We'll have Celestine come over to deliver some additional troops. Sam can then grab those extra bounty hunters and see if that makes a difference. I sort of suspect not, though. Honestly, like, I think this is just going to be death. It isn't actually death. But let's see if we can do better by splitting our units in a different manner. Like, maybe it's a case of going, okay, what happens if I do that? Interesting. Yeah, okay, I see the problem. Still, there's a lot to be said for tempo. Yeah, so I just refused to attack the second one. Yeah, these archers are trying to not kill themselves, but I guess there's not much we can do. Fair enough. Well, I'll take it. We just keep pressing on. Lots of sea witches as well guarding this gold mine that would be nice to clear. And so there are some automatons behind here, so looks like if we fight some additional fights we get some just troops ready to go. I don't see a ranch yet that's locked up, but maybe there's one down here. Okay. Let's attack these Ogre Magi. Of course we don't have our bounty hunters with us for this fight, but we should persevere. Probably was just a fight for mass bless, to be honest. I don't think we necessarily need the haste. Possibly, though. We'll fall back for now. Naturally, the Grenadiers are being just heroic lads. Oh, morale, though, that's a concerning moment. 2 armadillos perish. I could probably put up with that. Well, what are you doing? You're also bonking armadillos. Well, who would like to die in a fire? Fair enough. Well, good enough. We'll grab some fresh armadillos, a prospector, and then we'll reunite our army. Actually, Sam can deal with this right now. Shouldn't be a problem, right? I guess we'll save. Okay, it is going to be a problem. Okay, there's a lot of... Fair enough. Let's not do that. It was an idea. So what do we want to do? So we've got this here. We're actually very close to that. We just need a bit more wood. Could make our way towards the sawmill to make that happen. Celestine at least has some spellcasting to help in that endeavour. Frederick probably should do it though, because he's got the mass forgetfulness. So we'll have him move in this general direction. We could speed him up as well while we're at it. So let's... what's the fastest unit on here? It's the automatons, isn't it? Yeah, definitely. So we'll take everything else off. So now keep him nice and speedy. Honestly, she could just stay there. Alright, what's Boyd going to be up to? Let's have a look at his hideout, Cold Rain. I would like to teach Boyd haste at some point. Haste on skeletons is very tender. Very nice. Just gonna have to defend. We can jump in there. We should jump in there. Whack 2 gold golems. Jump back out. There's no danger of morale, so we can take full advantage of our abilities to maneuver. We actually outspeed these golems. It's actually not as bad as I was first thinking. We can't bless. How close are we to doing that? That's 150. We should be pretty good. Give it bloodlust if we really care. I don't think it's a problem. Yeah, it's not a problem. So, question is how much sort of damage we want to take. We can do the shield. So So we'll hit this stack. Actually, we can just walk away. Or we could get into the thick of it. We'll lose a few skeletons though, which seems bad. So we won't. I thought we'd be okay. We can actually take a few more punches, I think. Yeah. Good sandworms. Expert Earth Magic seems a good option. We'll raise 2 more dead as skeletons, even though they're just pieces of gold, but it still counts. Some wood. Now we have Cold Rain, which allows us to get skeletons. We cannot upgrade the skeletons. We can, however, build a mage guild, which is, of course, a temptation. I think we should still accompany Boyd to Gold Rain. We can get ourselves some mana. He needs to be the one to deal some of this clearing. I think this whole area is merely meant for Boyd. There is this quest guard, though, which, of course, is interesting. So, yes, there's some wood here as well. But a lot of this is obviously meant to be for Boyd, including the dead man's boots up there. So, yeah. Let's continue our quest. The white border guard's going to be interesting for us. We'll hire the skeletons. I suppose, can we build a skeleton transformer? We can't. We have to use the external one over here. So, we might as well get the mage guild. Yeah, some spells. I think the main thing we learned is dispel. We can have Boyd sit in town to learn the tools of the trade. We can have Henrietta, of course, learn a few spells as well, and regain her own mana. So some monks here. Seems a bit curious to have some monks sitting on the road. But what we'll do is we'll call it a video there. Thank you all for watching. When we come back next time, more Heroes of Might and Magic 3 Horn of the Abyss, the Forged in Fire campaign. Dead or alive. We now have Boyd, the dead man out for vengeance. So it should be interesting, eh?